Yeah. So, I mean, we focus on so many different industries. I like to know how much of stuff will fit. So we did it with Ford F-150 engines, uh, dryers from Whirlpool, Squishmallows.
Yeah, my kids love those things.
And that's why
All right, so how many engines?
oh my gosh, I don't remember off the top of my, I think it was
I think it
150.
was 150, that's all.
Yeah.
How many Squishmallows?
It depends on the size, but it was, yeah, it was a lot.
Like, thousands?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
and then
that
you
one
could squish
was
them down too, so,
exactly,
that's
but
really funny.
microchips, 7.8 million.
Jim, when you go out on these sales calls and you meet people, what's the first thing that people ask you?
Why would I want a storage trailer?
What's the answer to that question?
So I just say, all right, look at it this way. Everyone has stuff, right? And then I see the light bulb go off. I said, so what we do is remove that stuff that's causing you issues on productivity, safety, um, just getting stuff made of what you do or moved on what you do. We alleviate that stress by putting it on our trailers, and then they get it.
What is the, one thing that what's that one small detail that you think kinda goes, and offers it makes a big difference to a customer with what you do?
Yeah, for us, I would say the biggest detail that they like is our responsiveness. And it sounds silly that, of course, everyone wants responsiveness, but in this world, everything we do is built on timing, demand, and hair on fire, right? So when they need it, they need it. And when they don't need it, they want it gone, right? So it's not something that they just forget about because they see it every day. But when they need it to help with productivity, production, fire marshals coming in and they need to make sure that everything's safe. They need to know that they can make a call. It's one call resolution, which everyone always brags about in our company, and for good reasons. The industry is rife with people that are doing a box on wheels, and that's just not what we do. We make sure that we see it from the beginning to the end.
When you have that kind of service, it creates a lot of wow factor moments, right? Do you have any fun customer stories of when you've seen people just totally be delighted and grateful for you guys coming in and having and delivering that detail?
Yeah, I did a whole series on raving fans. But one of the coolest things that I've seen from a wow factor is a huge packaging company that we're all proud to be providing trailers for, but they have integrated us into everything they do. It's a true hub and spoke, similar to what you were just saying, to where it's up on the dock, it's away from the dock. I call it access to act, right? They know what's in it by barcoding the pallets. They barcode our trailer, and it's a true extension of their millions square feet of warehouse, but they know exactly what's on it and where. So it really proved to me that what we do is a very simple solution solving complex problems. And they have it throughout their entire facility and multiple warehouses. Yeah, so it's top of mind, right? I always say no one wakes up on a Monday morning and says this would be a great week to add trailers, right? They don't do it because if everything was perfect in their warehouse, they wouldn't need them, right? But what we do is make sure that they know what we do, how we do it, how we can get it to them. So when, again, timing, demand, and hair on fire moments happen, they know that we can not only do it in their market, but across 37 markets that they might be in.
How do you take somebody from, because you all deal with a lot of customers who just like trailer rentals to them is over the road. It's not like the idea of this is not hit them yet that they could solve their problems with a storage trailer. How do you take somebody from I've never heard of this to like, oh my gosh, this is a no-brainer?
I really start with, because I get that all the time, especially if I'm doing a cold call, right? And I typically start it with the stuff story, because I'll get that RCA dog look where they tilt their head at me and like, a storage trailer, why would I need that? And then I talk about all the different pain points that we solve by having one or thousands of them throughout their infrastructure.
So as you're talking to these people, I know you sometimes get pushback or hesitations. What are some of those hesitations, and then how are you kind of countering that in your job?
Even though we have 40,000 trailers and we have the majority of them on rent, we still get the objection of, I'll just build. I'll just build another 5,000, 10,000, 100,000 square feet. We'll, yeah, we'll figure it out. We don't want the trailers. So it really is the pinpoint or doing the pain points. That's because the trailers themselves, without their stuff on it, is just a box on wheels, right? It's literally what problem are we going to solve for them to get them to understand the value of it. And if all we did was promote that we do trailers, probably wouldn't be nearly as successful as what John's built. It's taking that pain and taking the frustration that they're dealing with and putting it on our solution.
Tell me how that discussion would go. If someone was saying like, "Oh, we'll just build 100,000 square feet or whatever it is."
Yeah, so for that, it's really backing them into why they think they need to do that. Because if it's something that they need to solve now, that's a minimally a 12-month project, unless they're renting one that's already existing. But then there's all the overhead that comes with that as well. So if they need it just for a small amount of time, I did the calculation. If it's going to be a 5 or 6 year project, build, right? And I think Matt and John would say the exact same thing. But if it's anything less than that, the value is getting the storage there, because I can give them 10,000 square feet and 23 trailers, and we can have it there in 48 to 72 hours. 10,000. Yep, 23. I do that math all the time for people, because that's what a lot of people think of as 10,000, 5,000 to 10,000. So 23 trailers, I can give them 10,000 for 30 days, or, in some cases 10 years, depending on how long they're going to keep it. But it can go away and flex up and down. Flexibility is king in our world, right? We're there when you need us, and we can take them away when you think you're done, but most turn around the next week and re-rent.
Yeah, okay, it takes a year to build, but you got to staff that thing.
It's
There's
all
there's
the overhead.
yeah, like
Yeah.
tell me, you probably know a lot about that. Can you just walk me through a little bit of that overhead and what that looks?
Well, yeah, you have obviously all the utilities, you have the overhead of the people, you have the insurance, you have the need now to fill it, right? That's what happens a lot, is they go out and build this, and then it's sitting half empty. And then they're deciding, all right, now do I have to sublease it, or what do we do now? And then they end up bailing on it. We've had that happen. So it really all depends, again, on what they need done now and how long they think they're going to need it. And then an open mind to listen, right? Because some people are so steadfast against what we're doing because they've never experienced it. And then you get people that say, man, I wish I would have known this before I went and rented or built or whatever.
Tell me about some recent challenges you've helped potential or clients, and you can anonymize these, but just tell me about some scenarios you've kind of solved for people with storage trailers.
A major tool company um, had pre-COVID trailers on rent, and they were probably paying a little more than the current market bears. So the GM had a conversation with them at that point, talked about that, but one of the big boys in the trailer world was in there, and they often get a little arrogant with the way they treat the company and the customer. So, in combination of working with the local market GM and WOW as an organization, they made us the sole provider of their trailers because they actually felt heard, right? It wasn't just a box on wheels with a fancy name coming on the side of it. They felt that what they were looking to accomplish was being delivered by working with Warehouse on Wheels and more importantly, in that case, B&W trailers. A true partnership for us is when they reach out or through proactive measures, we have a conversation to really break down what they want to accomplish, right? Because if we just say, well, we'll deliver a trailer and we don't know what they're putting on it, is it going to move or not move? Is it going to be there for, a week, or are they planning on keeping it for 3 years? And sometimes they don't know that. But the more we have a full picture of what they're looking to accomplish, then we can make sure we get the right solution to them. Because if they're going to take it on the road, they do need a cartage trailer, right? That's some of that short run, plant to DC type runs that we can accommodate as well. Do they need offsite parking? Do they need any transportation? We do this for some of our customers that takes a lot off of their plate by just quote renting a trailer, right? And they didn't know we did it. So when we have that full scope of what they're looking to accomplish, and then we can introduce them to our customer service team, our billing team, and they start realizing how close they are to get everything solved, that's a true partnership for us.
So there's a lot of logistics providers, a lot of storage companies out there, a lot of storage options, and maybe trailers not. What what is it you're finding? Because you're out there day to day talking to people that need this service. What is it about the value proposition that you all have that you see click for people the most?
Against competition, right? And as you state, there's a lot of it. But what they value from us is the scale of our operation, meaning Canada to Mexico throughout the United States, and then the responsiveness. Because again, a lot of times they feel that they're just left, right? If something goes wrong with the trailer, they can't get service. I recently was speaking with a potential customer that I'm trying to get to. They were stranded on the highway for 5 hours. Couldn't get service, couldn't get attention, couldn't get the police were saying, "Have you called anyone?" So where we'll come in when we earn this business, which we're going to, is we'll take that off the plate. So they know based on our size, based on where we're at, and then if they have multiple locations, which is where I focus a lot on, is the national players, is that they can get similar on rent rates. They can get the same level of service, same level of responsiveness, that one call resolution. That's what they want. They just want to be able to know that if I think of trailers, I'm with Wow, we're taken care of.
Because they're a type of customer that fits that national footprint that you're just like, man, everybody I talk to, like it clicks. This is perfect for them. Everybody wins. Can you talk a little bit about what that customer profile would look like?
Yeah, so the customer profile that I look for is typically multiple locations. The industry is shockingly wide open, right? I mean, some of our longest term are in packaging and automotive. But then we'll get fireworks companies, we'll get apparel companies, we'll get some food, right? We have some refrigerated, but our focus is common commodity storage and cartage. So I've yet to find an industry that we really can't do unless they need really strict temperature, right? So other than that, everyone struggles with stuff. And I know I keep going back to that, but that's the thing. And stuff causes problems. If they had an empty warehouse, their stuff wouldn't be laying on the ground or blocking fire doors or keeping people from doing their job. So the reason why people stay with WOW is for the reasons that Matt and John probably said and I try to focus on, which is that true customer focused from the beginning of knowing what they need it for, how they're going to use it, and what they're trying to accomplish with it. Because it seems simple, right? We have a box on wheels. You're just going to put your, overflow in. But sometimes it's way more than that. For instance, the packaging company that I mentioned that uses us for a hub and spoke, they had a new product line that was blowing up. So they had to take 3 of their existing lines out to accommodate this because the market demand was so high. They put that material on our trailers, so when it eventually has to go back in, it's quick access to act. They can do that and be nimble at the same time. So that is where I really take pride, is that we're truly changing the way they can go to market.
What's a misconception that you've heard consistently about us and what we do, and how do you respond to it?
So the misconception is that it's just a hindrance, right? It prevents productivity. It prevents people from being able to do their job because they have to go out and get it, right? And they're missing the fact that it's can be put right up on the dock door, and it becomes just another piece of their warehouse. And the great thing is that it's not permanent, it's flexible, it's mobile, it's versatile, so any of it can change. And when we have that capability, it impacts them in more ways than I think they've ever been exposed to, and that's what we try to get across.
If somebody's never used storage trailers before, how would they do they typically have, like, a yard dog type truck around anyways to be able to move these? Or, like, how do they move them in and out? Like,
Yeah, some of them will, but some of them will use our services as well, based on, what type of business they're in. Not everyone has a yard dog, not everyone, has a transportation team. And, another benefit that we'll do, even if one of the locations isn't equipped to do it, we have a vendor network that supports our customers, and they're blown away when that happens because they don't expect us to solve that problem. But we try to solve them all, right? When we can. We stay within our lane, but that lane gets wider and wider. We'll bring mobile service if they don't have the ability to get it to us, we can bring mobile service to many of our customers or bring a vendor out to do it.
tell me about how good it feels knowing, like, you're the national guy, you're kinda tying this together with these big vendors, but tell me about how good it feels to know that that local team is gonna own it, once you give it over to them, and, how much confidence do you have in them when you hand it?
So the confidence, I've never had it to where I work with the local markets like I do in this role. So the confidence I have in working with the GM in Louisville or the GM in Evansville, the fact that it's the same and that I know I can say it with earnest and honest to a potential customer that your location in Pittsburgh is going to get the same service that they get in Detroit as they do in Houston, and to know that I'm not just saying it as a sales pitch is amazing because I haven't always had that capability. And to know that under what John has built, it's going to be delivered the way that I say it's going to be. Because that's all they have from me is my word and how I painted the picture of how this experience will be for 'em.
You have a ton of experience. Like, when I first met you, we talked a lot about your background prior to WOW, but I'm curious, what have you learned from working with the team at WOW?
So what have I learned? A lot, because I wasn't. I'm not a mechanic. My wife will tell you that. Um, and what I think is interesting to know is I sold to WOW in one of those previous roles. They were my customer when I sold GPS tracking. And I searched out John to work with him because of how he treated me and that process, and his team treated me. So I knew I wanted to be a part of this. So when I'm out there talking about the values that we have and the way they're going to be treated, I lived it, and it's easy. That makes it easy to get up every day to know, yeah, you're doing what's right for these companies and not just hawking a product. It's an amazing way to be in sales. So,
I know from just getting to know you over the last, I don't know, what has it been, like 6 months or so I've been working with you, Jim, that you're really proud of what you get to do and proud of the team. What is it makes you so proud of what you guys do every day?
yeah, the pride's easy with what we do because it's again, it's a very simple solution, right? There's no technology to it, but the impact that it can have, and I've seen it have on anywhere from a company that does nationwide sporting goods or is building automotive or is making the packaging that we all see at the convenience store. We're part of it. And many of them can't do what they do without this solution. And could they get it from somewhere else? Yeah, they could, but they're not going to get the flexibility that we do when they can do it in 30-day blocks, right? They are getting it at a fair rate for the time that they need it, and what we say happens, right? They're not getting it, and sometimes the trailers aren't perfect, but the fact that the GMs have the authority, they have the autonomy to make sure that they make it right for that customer, and it's dry, safe, and dark, then we know we're doing exactly what we need to do for them, and they can do what they need to do by partnering with us.